the Manx Regiment has a dubious honour, it should be without doubt an honour, of shooting the first British shots of World War II. And I have researched this and it's definitely the case. The Prime Minister came on the radio at 11:15 on the morning of the 3rd of September 1939, Sunday morning. He announced that as of 11 o'clock we're at war with Germany. Within 2 hours of that broadcast, the Manx Regiment was firing its guns. They had been mobilised about a week earlier and had been sent over to Liverpool to defend the docks on the River Mersey. So their guns were stationed on either bank of the River Mersey. Some were on top of warehouses, some were in fields, and their duty was to identify any aircraft flying over the area. If they were not identified, then their instructions were to fire a warning shot, and if there was no reaction or if there was a belligerent reaction, they would let rip. And the regiment was equipped with Bofors guns. Now, they're a Swedish invention, a magnificent piece of equipment for the time, and they fire a 2-pound shell at a rate of 120 rounds a minute. So it's like a giant machine gun going off, and it's not a healthy place to be on the receiving end of that. So at 1:15 on the first day of the Second World War, 2 aeroplanes flew up the River Mersey from out at sea, and the instructions were that if there were more than one aeroplane, they would fly side by side with the wheels hanging down to indicate at a glance that they were friendly. But oh no, these two were one behind the other with the wheels up. So the Manx Regiment guys were ordered to fire one shot as a warning, and they did, and there was no reaction. So 3 of the guns started firing, and I think about 20 rounds were expended, upon which one of the aeroplanes started flashing an identification code letter, basically saying, "We're RAF." So, rather unfortunately, the first shots of the Second World War were fired at our own side. Luckily, they missed. And one of the chaps was heard to say, well, at least we know the guns work, because they hadn't previously fired them. And these 2 shell cases were brought home by the sergeant in charge of one of the guns, and his wife duly polished them every week, had them on the mantelpiece until she passed away. And the daughter took on the task of polishing them. And she got fed up of it, so she gave them to us, and I gave them a final ceremonial polish and sealed them into a display case. But when you think about it, of all the countless millions of pieces of ordnance that were fired in World War II by the British forces, these are among the first 2, and that is absolutely incredible. People ask, how do you put a value on this stuff? You can't. You can buy these shell cases, maybe £15 in an antique shop. But if it's the first one fired in World War II, you just can't value it.